Well, good morning, YouTube. It's Wednesday, September 6th, and just got done walking old Flapjack over here at the park, and he won't stay in the van, so I had to hook him up on his leash over there. He's not being a very good boy this morning. But figured I'd shoot a little short video this morning and tell you about something kind of interesting. It's kind of a follow-up on my trip a week ago up to a place we call West Side. And if you watched my last Bigfoot video, I talked about the things that happened there, and the last night I was there by myself, and that there wasn't a whole lot went on. And they told me to go to bed early, so I went to bed about 8:30. And all in all, it just I was a little bit disappointed by everything that happened. And I should tell you, I'm right across the street from the school, and school's started this morning, so if you hear some announcements on the PA system, that's what it is. So anyway, interestingly enough, last night I got a call from another one of our people, and this lady lives over near Sholo, Arizona, and she lives on pretty remote acreage. And she has a Sasquatch family that lives on her property, and she has ongoing contact with them. Sometimes kind of sporadic, but one of the things that she has going for her, and one of these days I want to get her on video, and I want to get her to tell her story, because she's got some absolutely fascinating stories. We went over there about 4 years ago and kind of opened her eyes as to what was actually happening there, because she wasn't really sure. Anyway, that's a story for her to tell, or maybe she'll tell me to tell it, but I'd like to get her on camera sometime. But anyway, one of the things that she has going for her, and I'm not gonna tell you her name, I'm just gonna call her Elle. And one of the things she has going for her is she's really, really good at picking up mind speak. She is as good as any of us, and as far as picking up mind speak. And the ones that live over there, they've talked to her, and once again, that's a story for another time. But she hadn't had anything really interesting happen up there in a while, and then last night she did. So she gave me a phone call and was telling me about it. And now where she lives, she doesn't have internet, and she has limited cell signal, so she doesn't do much as far as trying to watch internet stuff on her phone. She has enough to text, and she has enough to make phone calls, but she doesn't have enough to really watch videos. So she doesn't really do much of that, and she has animals that keep her busy. She has horses and dogs. And well, anyway, so she called me up last night to tell me about some stuff that happened, and so I was telling her about what happened to me last week, and I told her that last night I was up there by myself, and they told me to stay, and that I was kind of excited because I thought maybe something interesting was going to happen, and that I was a little bit disappointed that nothing interesting did happen. And while she was talking to me, she gets mind speak, and the ones over there told her more happened than he thinks. So she told me that. So I immediately came back and asked them a question through her. And I said, can you tell me what it was that happened? And they came back and said, if we wanted you to know, we would have told you. Well, that's kind of snarky a little bit, but it was interesting nonetheless. And she got it very, very clearly. And, they've told me that I need to be more patient, that I'm a little too pushy. And they've actually, a while back, I made a video about that where I got pushy with one of the elders one night, and they kind of put me in the woodshed and made me freeze my butt off all night, just to tell me that, just put me back in my place, and kind of a don't mess with me boy thing. But anyway, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So I got to trying to think about what might have happened, and I don't really know what actually did happen up there. I got my theories. I think maybe they worked on me medically, and it might have something to do with my recuperation from my surgery. Maybe they helped the nerve endings regrow or something, and helped me with my issues that I've been having regarding bladder control. Because it seems like it's a little better since I was up there. This last week has actually been, I've made quite a bit of progress. Well, after I talked to her, I called Kevin and told Kevin about it. And so Kevin, he actually, he says, he says, I was going to call you because I have something as well. And well, Kevin's got a bad knee, and it's bone on bone, and he's actually been to the doctor and starting to go through the process of maybe having a total knee replacement and have an artificial knee put in. And I know a little bit about that because my wife's had both of her knees done. And so Kevin tries not to let it slow him down, but it does when it gets to hurting. And he was up there last week and cutting firewood and running the chainsaw, and the tree we were cutting was down a hill a little bit, so we had to pick up those big old pieces of firewood and haul them back up to the road so we could load them on the trailer. And it's tough on a couple old guys, especially with his knee. And by the time he got done, his knee was bothering him a lot. Well, and he went back home, and of course had the deal going on with his daughter, and he was down at her place down in the Metro Phoenix area for a couple of days. And he told me, he says, my knee has been doing really, really well. He said it hurt for a little while, but it's been doing really, really well now. And he said right now, he says, not hurting at all. And so he thinks that maybe that while he was up there, maybe they worked on his knee to alleviate the pain. So we don't know for sure. We can speculate. I had a viewer here a while back that commented on one of my videos about the healing, and he apparently was familiar with another instance where they asked him if they could heal, and he thought that they should probably ask us if it's okay to do that to us. And that's not been my experience. And my experience is that they see something that needs to be done, they just go do it. And now if they did work on me, they did it while I was sleeping, but I think I mentioned in that video that I normally don't sleep very much. I slept less than 6 hours last night. The dog got me up super early, and that's about normal for me. But the last night I was up there on the mountain, they told me they wanted me to go to bed about 8:30, and I didn't wake up until after 5 in the morning, and that was 9 hours. And now, I woke up and had to get up and go pee a couple of times, but that's normal for us old guys. And but I went right back to sleep again. So sleeping 9 hours to me is unheard of, especially in a van up in the woods. I talked about it in one of my community page posts. But so maybe they put me to sleep, and maybe they did some work on me while I was sleeping. I don't really know. I'd like to know. But anyway, it's all kind of interesting, a little bit speculative. But getting that mind speak over at Elle when I was talking to Elle on the phone last night, I thought that was pretty darn interesting. And you wonder how the ones over there, now she lives 114 miles by road from my house, and so you wonder how they know. Well, I've talked about it before, but just to fill in the blanks for those of you that might not have watched previous videos, is that we believe the Sasquatch people have what we call a hive mentality, and we've been told that what one knows they all know, and what one feels they all feel. Now they're also, they're much more highly developed, I guess, knowledge-wise or smarts-wise or whatever, mentally, they're much more highly developed than we are. And can you imagine the mental capacity they have to have, if that's true, if what one knows they all know? Can you imagine the mental capacity they have to have as individuals to do that? There's a lot of them. I experienced that up in on my trip back in 2021 when I was up in Idaho, and the ones up there knew me, and I went over to Montana and they knew who I was, and back down in Wyoming I met one that knew who I was, and Colorado, and I mean 6 different states in the summer of 2021. I had encounters, got names, and they knew who I was. So there's got to be something to that hive mentality stuff. When something happened over here, and the ones over there at Elle's place knew about it, and they told her, and then of course one of the things she did, by the way, which is interesting too, is that when she had the latest thing that happened to her over there, and it was yesterday, and she actually asked them if it was okay to call me up and tell me about it, because she didn't, if indeed if they objected to it, then she wasn't going to tell me. And there's some stuff that's happened that she's been told not to tell me. But there's been really incredible things that's happened to her, and some stuff's absolutely amazing. And I've been over there to visit with her a few times, and I've had some interesting stuff happen to me over there, and I've talked a little bit about it in previous videos. But one of these days, maybe I'll get her to go on camera and tell her story. The stuff's pretty amazing, and we need to get back over there again and visit with the forest people over there, because there's that's the northern part of Arizona's White Mountains, and that's a real active area over there, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of stories from there, and I've had encounters over there myself and gotten some names. So I guess that'll wrap up this one. This is the first take on this. Maybe I got it right. I'll watch it and see if I did, and I'll get it uploaded here pretty quick if it's okay. And I'll, as I always tell you, take care of each other, love each other, and take care of yourself. It's a beautiful morning here. Temperatures right now, it's probably in the low 60s. We got down to the mid 50s last night. So just a little nip of fall in the air. So with that, I'll turn you right around and give you one more look at FJ. He's laying over there in the van. He knows since I hooked up the leash to him, he knows that he did something he wasn't supposed to. So he's over there pouting a little bit. But he tells you hi, and we'll talk to y'all on another one real quick. So right now, I'll just tell you peace out.